And this is episode 17.
18.
18. Damn it! All right. Well, you know what? It's Star Wars month. This is episode
Star Wars month.
This is episode 2 of Star Wars month.
Yay!
If you notice, that's why I titled them instead of Press Play. Just this is Star Wars month. This is the Press Play podcast. I'm Ian.
I'm Seth.
And thank you for listening. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, YouTube, and you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/podcastpressplay. So today I knew we were going to do this, and I was excited, but I don't know what I'm more excited about. Because I really am looking forward to next week when we talk about Force Awakens and Last Jedi. So I think I'm torn between. I think I'm like 49-51 more excited about this one, but I'm very excited about next week. Last week we had to just get through that one.
Yeah, we did.
And I was watching the original trilogy this weekend, and oh man, there was a lot of just watching the original trilogy made me think of things that we didn't say about the prequels, because they're just so inconsistent.
When you watch the original trilogy, especially if you watch them in order, then there's so much that doesn't match, but
at all. But
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again.
Yeah, I mean, if it happens, it happens, because we really don't have an outline. We just,
we never do.
Yeah, this is really just kind of just off the top of our heads and raw and whatever. So, okay, this is what I'm so excited. So, Star Wars, the original trilogy,
1977, baby.
One of the greatest trilogies to exist. Star Wars, it's just called Star Wars to me.
Yeah,
most people like to call it Episode 4. I don't.
It's Star Wars.
I'll call it A New Hope. To ease confusion, but I will not call it Episode 4 because this is the first. This is probably the first Star Wars movie I would say about 98% of the listeners watched first. It is definitely that way for me.
I don't remember watching it first. The first movie I ever remember watching is Jedi.
Okay. I remember watching this one first.
3 or 4 when that movie came out?
I watched this one first quite a few times before I ever got around to the sequels.
I got you.
But because my aunt had them, and she had them on VHS, but I was always watching A New Hope, just because I loved it. And that was even when I was a kid. There's things that you'll get later on in life, but I just love, the sci-fi fantasy. This guy's walking around with laser swords and force magic, and, Han Solo's first mate is a giant dog, which is hilarious. So that was really cool. But, man, watching this as an adult, I freaking love this movie so much. Like,
so do I.
With everything in my body. This movie, and I will also credit it to the sequels as well. This movie is what made me want to be a nerd. Yeah.
Honestly, that's about me too.
Yes. It shaped who I am as a nerd or a geek or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. It started here.
Star Wars was my first love. I remember the old school blaster when I was a kid. I had that. I had lightsabers. I had all the old toys.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan and you don't own a lightsaber, even if it's a cheap one,
right?
What are you doing? I have 3 in my closet.
They're probably having relationships with people.
So, I was watching it, and unfortunately, when I watched this trilogy, I had to watch it on Disney Plus. So these are the special editions,
okay,
which we will talk about at some point. But
it's good that we have a contrast because I own. There was an old DVD set that was released back in the early to mid 2000s, and I found it on a Walmart shelf, and I picked it up and looked at the back of it, and it said special features on the second disc was the original theatrical cuts of the films. These are so rare.
Oh, yeah, you can find them on like eBay or whatever, but they don't sell them.
No, you cannot legally purchase them from a store or download it from any site.
Nope.
And I find that sad.
It is sad.
Because these are the only versions of these films that I watch, because you have to appreciate Star Wars from the time it was made.
And George Lucas just does not do that. And it's apparent when you get to Jedi.
He doesn't get it.
No, he absolutely
doesn't get his own idea, which I find baffling.
So,
the first movie itself is probably the greatest contribution to modern cinema ever. It shaped so much, everything that you see in the theater now was because of Star Wars.
And
movies changed.
And it absolutely shows in movies that came after it.
Yeah.
Just how heavily influenced they were by it. But, let's just start. So this is what I love about the original trilogy as opposed to the prequels, because it lays it all out for you. This is the story, and you don't have any questions. You know what's going on in the crawl.
Because the story's simple.
It's very simple, and it lays it out to you in 3 paragraphs. This is what's going on, and this is what's going to happen. So strap in, because this is you won't have any questions.
Which is, it's actually funny that you bring this up, because Lucas, the original crawl, whenever he showed his first rough cut of the film to Spielberg and his other friends, they said this is a mess. The crawl was like 5 or 6 paragraphs long, talking about the Sith and talking about other things, and the first 30 minutes of the movie were when Vader captures the princess, all of those scenes were intercut with introducing Luke on Tatooine. It didn't make any sense. It cut down the flow and pacing of the film. So the editors, which one of them was his wife at the time, went back and recut the film, reordered some scenes, cut some scenes completely, and that's the version that we got in the theaters.
Yeah, editing absolutely saved this movie 100%.
It absolutely did.
But and this because you said the word, this probably hopefully will be the last time that I bring up the prequels in this episode. I even asked you the other day. I'm like, hey, I'm watching this trilogy. I know you're watching it too. Does the word Sith appear in any of these 3 movies at all?
No, it never does.
It's never uttered once.
Not one time.
Which brings you back to the last episode where we were talking about what is a Sith. Well, we don't know. They don't even bring it up in the original trilogy. It's not a thing.
Nope.
Which, fine. They're just bad guys to be bad guys. So you open up with this space battle that is so iconic.
Oh, the chase at the beginning?
Yes.
Yeah, in one shot. This shot's brilliant.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In one shot, you get just how small the rebels are, how inequipped they are, and how big and overlooming the Empire is in one shot. Mm-hmm. And a special effect that they invented and still looks good to this day.
Oh yeah, that didn't need to be touched at all.
No.
But
all they did in the special editions on that scene was up the resolution.
Yes, so from the crawl, there's this giant battle station that has the ability to destroy planets. The rebels got their hands on the plans so they can find a weakness. Cool. Start the movie. Awesome. That's all you need.
Yep.
And some stuff happens. You're introduced to 4 of the main characters right away. You got Princess Leia, C-3PO, R2-D2, and the coolest looking villain you've ever seen. Darth Vader, who is overpowering. He's tall. He's in contrast with all of his other soldiers because they're all wearing white, and he's
so
the only
intimidating.
he's the only one walking around in black, and James Earl Jones just knocking out of the park with his voice.
Yes.
So that's cool. So
you can't not mention the mannerisms by David Prowse though.
No,
the guy in the suit.
He did very well as well. And
so the pointing of the finger and all that he does, it's all iconic.
Yep.
It wouldn't be Vader without it.
So this is, and because I love this movie, I am allowing myself to nitpick it. For me, as soon as the droids land on Tatooine, the movie slows down for me. Like, it's not a matter of pacing or whatever, it's just boring. I know, because I know that they're kind of building up to, meeting Luke and all that, but when they're just walking through the desert and they meet the Jawas, I don't care, because I've seen it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It's just dull.
Well, when you first get there, they try to establish this planet as a
desolate wasteland.
It's a desolate wasteland. There's a mystery behind it. You don't know. You haven't seen people there yet.
No.
So you don't know what they're going to encounter. They're trying to create tension, but like you said, as you watch it over and over again, this is a scene that I personally too can skip.
Yeah, skip right to when they meet Luke, and really even then, I would probably skip a little bit more and just go straight to Obi-Wan. But I watched it in its entirety, and you meet Luke, who he's just a dreamer who's just tired of being on this planet. And there's like this kind of foreshadowing about Luke's father that they don't really give you any detail other than, like Aunt Beru is like, he's got too much of his father in him. He's not a farmer, which we'll get into later on when you meet Obi-Wan. But aside from that little exposition, it really does nothing to serve the film.
Other than trying to let you know who Luke is.
Yeah, which is totally fine. So skip. We meet Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, here is where this is where I yelled at my TV when I watched this because R2-D2 is like he's carrying a message for an Obi-Wan Kenobi, and this is where Obi-Wan should be like, "Hey, that's R2-D2, like the droid that Anakin used to have."
Nope.
No, none of that. And I get some time has passed, but R2-D2 saved you on the ship at the beginning of Episode 3. You directly talked to him. You know what? I'm treating them like the prequels don't matter because they didn't exist at the time, so whatever. I don't care.
No, they didn't exist at the time, which is why they're so bad.
They're so bad.
Anyway.
So anyway, you meet Obi-Wan and you find out he is a Jedi Knight, which... Okay, cool. What's that? The Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy. Oh, that sounds cool. And they have these cool weapons. It's like, hey, this is your father's lightsaber. Whatever. You're learning about the Jedi as we go along. And, you fought in the Clone Wars. Don't know what that is, but it sounds awesome.
Sounds awesome.
Until you see it. And then it's not. So, and then Obi-Wan just pretty much just straight up lies. And he's like, yeah, your father was the best starfighter pilot in the galaxy. Darth Vader hunted down and destroyed the Jedi, including your father. That's not even me talking about the prequels. That's you being inconsistent in your own sequels to this film. Because that is a lie.
It is a lie.
Don't even hit me with that from a certain point of view bullshit. No, you pulled that out of your ass because you needed to retcon what Obi-Wan just said.
Yep.
But whatever. I don't think he expected to make sequels at this point.
No one did.
Yeah.
No one thought that this movie was going to be more than a cheap little popcorn flick that did moderately well. It became a phenomenon.
Yeah. So they discovered that the Jawas that sold C-3PO and R2-D2 have been attacked, and there's like, this isn't sand people. Only Imperial stormtroopers can hit with such accuracy, which, another lie. They don't hit anything.
In this movie, they do, though. In this movie, they do.
They hit some rebels at the beginning.
In the sequels, they just don't.
They don't hit anything. It's like, they don't... Accuracy, my ass. So... Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, they die. No one cares. They weren't that important.
They were to Luke, though.
Sure.
But he does get more upset about Obi-Wan dying than his aunt and uncle.
I know. Good God, man. So, then we meet Han Solo and Chewbacca.
Mm-hmm.
And Greedo shoots first. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. But, damn it.
People have argued about this on the internet. And this is why this matters.
I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, because when you leave the scene as it was originally shot,
where only Han shot.
Greedo
only didn't shoot anything.
He straight up murdered him.
Yes.
And threw change at the bartender saying sorry for the mess. It was supposed to show that Han Solo was you don't trifle with this guy. You don't mess with him. He's a scoundrel. He's a scoundrel. He's going to get what he wants. He's going to do whatever he can to survive. He's all about himself. He's selfish.
Himself and his ship. That's all.
That's important.
Because it makes his turn later on so much more valuable.
Yes, it is.
That's called a character arc.
Yeah.
And they're important. You took it away when you had Greedo shoot at all.
Yeah, at all.
Okay. So... We're back on the Death Star, and they're arguing about, this until the station's operational, blah, blah, blah. We can't let the rebellion get those plans. And then you see just how cool Darth Vader is because he can choke people without touching you. And I'm like, oh, that's so fucking cool. That is cool. How do you do that?
Yeah, we get that scene right after Obi-Wan explains the Force, basically.
Yes.
So
But it does. But he doesn't explain what it can do, just what it is.
No, just what it is, and then Vader shows what a bad guy can do with it.
Yeah.
Because Obi-Wan doesn't really use it.
Not at all,
Think
actually.
about it.
The only time he uses it is when he uses the Jedi mind
trick.
trick.
When he uses the mind trick. You don't see him use the Force at all.
No, for anything. The first time you see, besides him choking you, I don't think you see anybody using the Force like that until Empire, when Luke's in the snow.
Empire, yep.
So they blow up Alderaan, and then you see. Well, this may be another thing that you could say that Obi-Wan felt Alderaan's destruction across the galaxy in hyperspace.
Oh yeah.
So that's.
Well, that was just him feeling it. It wasn't him using it.
Yeah. Okay. So we get to Alderaan and the Death Star, which is. I do love when he's training on the Millennium Falcon with the blast shield down and his lightsaber against the little robot thing that you saw the kids using in Episode 2, which I was watching and I thought, where did that come from? Obi-Wan didn't have any luggage on him. Was that just on the ship?
Yes, it was on the ship.
Why do you have that?
That was supposed to be because it was just something Solo had.
Yeah.
It was never a Jedi training tool.
Yeah, okay.
No, Obi-Wan just used that as a makeshift lesson.
I guess.
That's all it was.
And I love when Family Guy brought it up, the Family Guy Star Wars, and I even brought I thought about this too, because Han's giving him shit about believing in the Force, and Luke's like, you don't believe in the Force, do you? And then, oh, you mean that mystical thing you found out about 3 hours ago? That's a good point. Like, maybe you shouldn't be the one lecturing Han Solo. Let Obi-Wan do the talking, because you just found out about this, today. You didn't know about it this morning when you woke up. You had no idea. So maybe leave the banter to those two. So we get to the Death Star. Awesome. I don't really know what negative things to say about the Death Star. I don't think I have any nitpicks at all.
I can skip the garbage compactor scene.
Yeah. I do like... and this is probably the only thing that the special editions did right, because when you see Han running down the hallway shooting at stormtroopers chasing them, and he comes into the main hangar and there's a whole bunch of stormtroopers, I like that he added more stormtroopers. It made it look better.
In the original cut,
there was only like 6.
It's like 6 of them.
But he added like 2 or 3 dozen more. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with those kinds of changes. That wasn't a bad idea.
No.
Okay, so they escape. They're being tracked. Stop me if I'm missing anything, because I'm just kind of... Yeah, there's really not a whole lot to say about this movie. It's so great.
Yeah, from back to front, it's just it's a really, really fun ride.
Yeah, so they get to the planet Yavin, and then they decide that they found a weakness. Cool, and then they're about to take off. Han decides he's gonna leave. He's like, I got my money. This is suicide. I'm not doing it. And then I love that Luke goes, I wish Ben were here. You had uncle and aunt that died in the span of 2 days, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, you knew this man collectively for about 8 hours. You knew your aunt and uncle your whole life. You didn't even... They're never mentioned again throughout this entire series.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I wish Ben were here. Well... Okay, I guess. Wow, what kind of upbringing was that like? You don't even care about your aunt.
It's not even his name.
That's right. Jesus, I don't even think. Yeah, he doesn't call him Obi-Wan until Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Empire he still calls him Ben.
He still calls him Ben
3 times, I think. He calls him Ben, and then in Jedi he's like Obi-Wan. What happened to Ben? I don't know. But one thing I love about this, about the end of this movie, is just how great it is. It doesn't. It's probably a good maybe 20 minutes of the film, but I'm okay with that.
The final battle?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of long, but I don't care.
It's exciting.
I could have watched another 5 or 10 minutes of it.
It's exciting. It's fun to look at.
Yeah,
it's tense.
And this right here. Not the prequels. This is where you see what Obi-Wan was talking about Darth Vader being one of the best pilots in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Because he's straight up owning them.
He is. Taking them out left and right.
Yes. That's what makes Obi-Wan's statement true. None of the prequels have anything to do with what he said.
And had Han Solo not come out of nowhere and shot him,
Luke
he would have
been
killed
gone.
Luke.
And that's a character arc.
Yep.
And then Death Star blows up and the movie ends. I do like that. A lot of these things that I'm bringing up come from the most recent viewing. Never questions that I had before.
Yeah.
Why didn't Chewbacca get a medal?
I don't know.
He was there.
He's the
co-pilot. Why is he just standing there off to the side?
I don't think they treat aliens very well.
They really don't.
And droids, for that matter.
No.
Holy crap, dude.
They discriminate against those in the cantina scene. Like, we don't serve their kind.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
Droids they're treated like garbage. I mean, whenever C-3PO introduces himself to Han Solo, you see him roll his eyes.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
They can't stand droids.
All right. I'm going to let you cover Empire.
But we get to, Empire. Empire just might be... It's definitely my favorite Star Wars film.
Absolutely. And it's almost cliche to say that, but there's a reason for that.
Yeah, it is the best one.
Yeah. And what's funny is I didn't know this until maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I was surprised when I found out that financially and box office-wise, this is the movie that did the worst.
Yes, because people were divided by it. If you go back and look at reviews and papers and stuff like that back then, people trashed this movie. There were fans that trashed the movie and wrote letters into Lucasfilm and so on and so forth because you know why? It didn't live up to their little fan theories in their head. They existed back then too.
Well, like what?
They wanted Luke and Leia to get together. The whole Vader saying that he's your father was divisive. They thought he was lying and so on and so forth. So people and it also showed new ways to use the Force, and that divided a lot of people like it does today.
Yeah.
Funny how things come in circles.
That is, okay, yeah. So
we get to what we open up, and every Star Wars film opens up in space, by the way, which I find fascinating. Every one of them. The crawl happens in space, and it pans down. The first shot's always in space.
1, 2, 3, 4. Not. I wouldn't say Force Awakens doesn't. It opens up on Jakku.
Space first.
Does it?
Yes.
Huh.
You see the
stormtroopers getting ready. Okay. Yep. Yeah, you're right then. Okay.
But you see the droids come down and the probes. And Luke is riding a Tauntaun.
Adorable.
The ugliest adorable thing ever. But did you notice that in between Star Wars and Empire that Mark Hamill's kind of looks different?
A little bit, yeah.
That's actually the reason they add in the snow monster scene and have him attacked is because Mark Hamill was in a car wreck in between filming those movies and it fucked his face up.
Okay.
So they had to have an excuse to why he looks so different. Look at pictures of him from that movie to the next movie. He looks different. Like part of his nose is missing and fallen down, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I just thought it was because he aged or something.
No, that's not aging.
Okay, fair enough.
But that's something that the special editions changed.
They added the snow monster.
They added the snow monster where you see him like eating or
which
whatever.
I didn't hate. That's
an okay addition.
I think as far as the special editions go, Empire suffered the least amount from it because there was so little that you could do with such a perfect movie. Jedi suffered the worst of it by far, and we'll get into that.
But whenever you see Han going back out to find Luke, he was ready to leave.
He was, yeah.
But he keeps finding excuses to stay. So the back of his mind and the bottom of his heart, he really wants to be there.
Well, not even that. It's like he was ready to die at the beginning of the movie. It's like your Tauntaun will freeze. Like, well, I'll see you in hell. He didn't care.
No.
Which lets you know that these two people in between movies have been through quite a bit together.
Yes, they have.
And that's fine. I don't have questions. And I like not having questions in Star Wars.
Me too.
You don't have to explain that these two are friends. We know. Time passes and...
They show it.
Yeah. That's fine. But I do like where you first see Luke. He's like, Echo 3 to Echo 7. Han, old buddy, do you read me? Like, who talks like that?
People in Star Wars.
I would
talk
never
like that.
say that to you. Like, hey, Seth, old buddy, can you hear me? If I call you on the phone, like,
buddy, old pal.
I'm never gonna call you that ever.
No.
But anyway. But in the crawl, you understand that because Luke blew up the Death Star, Vader is obsessed with finding him, and I'm of the belief that he's obsessed with finding him because he learned his name.
That did he?
I don't know. They don't tell you. They just say that. They just say in the crawl that he's obsessed with finding Luke Skywalker.
Well, he does feel the Force on him when he's about to shoot him in the first movie.
That's true, but I think that he also learned his name.
He had to have,
because he doesn't
somehow
say because nobody tells him what his name is until I think the Emperor tells him. I think he's the son of, or Luke's the son of Skywalker. I think he knew that.
No,
or at least thought maybe.
No, when they show him the shield generator on the monitor, that's the system, and Skywalker is with them. He already knows his name.
So he knows his name, and I think that's why he's looking for him, because I think he knows.
Yeah.
So, just so he could tell him.
But Vader in this movie, this is my favorite Vader.
He's ruthless.
He's just an evil son of a bitch, dude. He doesn't care. There are no means too despicable to his end.
No. How many people did he choke in this movie?
4?
Maybe. God.
Just for messing up.
Yeah. That was fun.
You have failed me for the last time, Admiral.
Well, what's also great about this movie is, I think for about maybe 90% of the film, the main cast is completely broken off from Luke Skywalker. So it really gives him the reins, and it's like, okay, now we're going to build you up as a character as opposed to you being with everyone else and just being a part of all this. Like, no, we're going to dive right into what you're going to become for this series. And I love that, because about
him alone on Dagobah are some of my favorite Star Wars moments.
Yeah, and you broke him up from the group because you know everything that you need to know about Han Solo. There's no change in his character at all because you already know everything you need to about him.
Yeah.
It's time to get into Luke. You could argue that I would actually argue that Leia doesn't change either, except for, her loving Han and whatever, but she's the exact same character. Luke is what you have to focus on. So you have to get him away from these people.
Yep.
And you meet Yoda, which I love Yoda's introduction. I love it so much. It still brings a smile to my face.
And to bring those movies back up, not only should they not have given him a lightsaber, Yoda shouldn't have been in those movies. Not one scene. Yoda should have been off doing amazing things because Yoda's amazing.
I don't hate that he was on the council, but he should have never left his chair. He shouldn't have been going to the clone planet. He shouldn't have been, on Geonosis.
Seeing him, period, ruins this reveal, though. Because when Yoda realizes,
them in order,
wow,
yes.
Yoda, you're not expecting this little guy to be a Jedi Master.
That's true. No, at all.
That goes to mystify the Force even more. That somebody this small is this powerful because he understands it so well. You ruin that when you show him in the prequels. You
probably could have mentioned him here and there.
Mention him fine, but never show his face.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't completely agree with you, but I understand what you're saying and I respect it. And I would be curious to have seen those films, but we got what we got. But this is where
just seeing just how impatient Luke is.
Yeah.
And he's already, wanting the easy way out, which Yoda's scared of.
Yeah, and this is kind of where the prequels make sense because he's seen this before. Mm-hmm. He saw it with Anakin.
Yeah.
But even if the prequels didn't exist, it still makes sense because, he's basically being whiny this entire time and demanding and kind of an asshole. And why would you want to teach that?
He didn't want to.
And
he was kind of just talked into it. He really doesn't have a choice.
And it makes no sense for Obi-Wan to be like, he's like, he's reckless. So was I, if you remember. Well, nobody remembers that. Why even say that? I know you're trying to make a case, but there's other things you could do. You could be like, this boy is our last hope. Say shit like that.
Yeah.
No one knows what you're talking about. There's no reference to you before A New Hope, and you're already an old man. We don't know anything about you. Why are you saying these things? It makes no sense contextually speaking.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, he should have been saying other lines.
Yeah, it did. Hey, good for you for getting Alec Guinness back, but you really didn't have to say that.
They couldn't pay him enough to have him on screen.
He was on screen as a ghost.
Yeah, for a little bit.
A little bit, not a lot.
Most of his lines are off screen.
Yeah. And then he shows up as a ghost on Hoth, and then on Dagobah when Luke's about to leave.
Yeah.
And that's it. And maybe a little bit in Jedi, which you probably paid him more for that one, because he actually had to sit down for quite a few minutes. Yeah. So, I don't...
The training sequence with Luke is... It brought so much to the world of the universe of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
It showed you just how powerful he can become, because he gets pretty knowledgeable. It's not really established how long he's there.
No, it isn't. But if you think about it, just thinking about what goes on off Dagobah,
mm-hmm.
with them, escaping the Empire and hiding out in the cave, and then going to Cloud City. It seems like not long at all. Maybe 2 days.
Yeah, because they were inside that monster on the asteroid for quite a while. How long were they looking for them?
Maybe they were looking for them for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Before they had to get out of it. But I mean, this could not have been longer than like 2 days on Dagobah, which is just crazy.
I don't know. If it's not very long, then you understand Yoda's concern. You can't leave yet.
Yeah.
This is just what they want.
This is where I feel like there should have been some context in between A New Hope and Empire, because when he's pleading with Yoda, he tells him, but I've already learned so much. Really? Because all we ever saw you do was play with that training droid, and that's all. That's all we saw. Yes, Obi-Wan explained a little bit more about what the Force is, but there's no reason that you gave us for why Luke can make things come to him with just his mind. Maybe Obi-Wan tried to talk to him in between the movies, but when he says, I've learned so much already, I don't know how you did that.
On his own?
I guess.
Because once you start to delve into that kind of power, you become curious and start testing it.
Sure.
So when he found out that I can use the Force to bring this to me, because he's not successful at first. He has to try.
Yeah, I think that was like his first attempt at ever doing that ever.
Yeah, may have been.
But okay, but that's just a nitpick.
But it like I said, it shows the concern that they have, because he's playing right into their hands. They can turn him right now.
And Vader knew that,
mm-hmm.
because he just tortured Han. Han even said, they didn't ask me anything. He just wanted Luke to feel Han in pain.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant on his part.
Yes, it is.
I love, like, this movie goes out on kind of a sad ending, but it's brilliant because of the way it ends.
It's the perfect second act to a story.
Yeah. It's got to get dark before it gets before it gets brighter and all that nonsense. But then you meet then we go back to Cloud City, you meet Lando.
Oh, Lando.
Who's just awesome.
He's uber cool, dude.
I love Billy D. Williams. That was the perfect choice.
I don't think they could have done any better than that.
No, because he just shows up and he's got that smooth voice and just the cool-ass lines. Fuck, I love that guy.
The swagger.
Yeah, he's got that. He just comes out in his pimp cape. I love that cape. That thing is so cool.
And immediately hits on Leia.
Yeah.
Immediately. What have we here?
Kisses her on the hand. But he doesn't. But he grabs like the side of her hand, not the front, which is like super, even more badass to me. I was like, because that's just a weird thing that I noticed. Like, I love the way he grabbed her hand, like he just cupped it. Like, oh, I was like, that was cool. It's a stupid thing that I noticed. So, we're introduced to Boba Fett in this movie, and Boba Fett is not a badass to me.
No, I think that Boba Fett got a little lucky.
Yeah, so do I. Because
he had a hunch, so he hit out.
Well, he also knew more about Han Solo than the rest of the bounty hunters, I feel like, because he personally works for Jabba.
Yeah.
So he would have more insight into how he thinks and how he flies and all that. So really, he's not a badass. He just knows more than the other bounty hunters, which helped him succeed. Because, good God, I'm not gonna. If Jedi didn't exist, sure, Boba Fett's a badass, and then his character's completely ruined in Jedi.
Yes, it is
100%. So that's
one of the reasons I think Jedi fails as a film, but we'll get into that.
Okay. So,
Cloud City, when Luke gets there, and then we have the duel.
My God,
duel.
Luke doesn't stand a freaking chance from the beginning.
Vader's playing with him.
Yeah,
you can tell.
Yeah, he's basically just he's a toy.
He's using one hand.
Yeah,
pretty much the entire fight.
Just throwing stuff at him for no reason. He could have ended the fight at any time, but.
This is my favorite lightsaber fight in the entire saga. There's so much at stake. It's so personal.
Yeah. I would compare it with the one in Jedi at the end, but that one's personal for whole other reasons.
Yeah.
But then you get the big reveal, which I don't think I've seen a twist in cinema like that ever.
No one had. No one was expecting that.
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that David Prowse spoke different lines.
He did,
because only like 4 people knew the truth.
It was Mark Hamill, the director Irvin Kershner, George Lucas,
and James Earl Jones.
4 people knew the line.
Yeah, I think David Prowse even said. I think it was something like Obi-Wan
killed your father.
Yeah, which. That's a whole. That takes the story in a completely different direction that I kind of would like to see in maybe a what if universe. That'd be fun.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the question, because I've thought about this a lot. Actually, is making Darth Vader Luke's father a good decision, story-wise, or is it just shocking? Because if you look at what Jedi has to do in order to make that make sense, they don't do much with it.
Jedi does not do what they should have done with it, because they are basically just throwing these accusations at you that you are just expected to believe. Like, Luke constantly throughout the movie is like, there's goodness in him. I feel it. Really? Because I saw Empire. There's no goodness in that guy at all.
No.
You're just saying that in hopes that we'll believe it. And we're like, oh, he got redeemed. No, that was just the movie lazily tying loose ends.
Yep.
Which, if I feel like Jedi was not fully written by the time that Empire or that Vader had said that. Mm-hmm. Because if it was, we probably would have gotten something better. But I think...
Would it have been better had he been lying?
No. I think either don't say it or it has to be the truth. Because I do like it. I just don't like how they handle it in the next movie.
Which makes me, that's why I asked the question. Because it does something to Star Wars that you and I both hate. And that's that everyone has to be related.
Yeah. But this is what started it.
Yeah. And people have used it as a storytelling crutch.
Yeah, which I don't mind this, but I do have a problem with everything else after this. Like, when Yoda says, or Obi-Wan says, that boy was our last hope, and Yoda says, no, there's another. You do know that Leia does not have to be his sister.
Right.
That was completely... That was pulled out of his ass when writing Jedi because
it was,
because you don't have them making out on Hoth if that's where you're going with this. That's just wrong. So yeah, this definitely had such potential, but it got wasted in the next movie.
Actually, a better question is Leia the bad decision? Leia is the bad decision, I think, making her related to Luke. That shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't have. No, I don't mind her being force sensitive when she picks up on Luke's little force call when he's hanging off or dangling off the antennas.
But she didn't have to be his sister.
No, she absolutely did not. And
she just could have been the other Hope.
Yeah, because you can't.
It's the Force.
It's too late in this series to start introducing new characters that could also stop the Empire. So it has to be somebody that we know, and of course it's going to be Leia. But they don't have to be related. I 100% agree. That was dumb. Because
in Empire, Yoda says, no, there is another. He tells Luke when he's dying in Jedi, there's another Skywalker. So
yeah,
that's a retcon.
It absolutely is, because it makes perfect sense that if Leia's force sensitive, she can pick up on it because she's Luke's friend. They've spent years together.
Right. Why?
They don't have to be related.
No, they don't.
That I hated. Which is why, out of this trilogy, Jedi is my least favorite, but I still like Jedi. I just think that there's a lot of things that should not be there.
I had the most nostalgia for this movie because this is the first movie I ever remember seeing. And it got me into Star Wars and made me watch the other films.
Right.
But if you want me to get critical about it, no. This film, I like parts of it. It has some good ideas in it.
It sets up things that had potential but were wasted.
Yeah.
Like basically with the whole there is another thing, that is set up to be something amazingly revealed, kind of like in Force Awakens when Rey grabs the lightsaber in the snow. If Leia had done something cool like that in Jedi, that would have been awesome. You knew exactly what Yoda was talking about. But there's another Skywalker. Why?
Because there had to be, I guess. I don't know why.
There really didn't. There could have just been another. And of course it was going to be Leia because we've met all these people already. But
this is where Jedi starts to kind of fall apart.
For me, the reason that these things are handled so sloppily is because a lot of the movie is spent on Tatooine.
The first 30 minutes of this movie are a complete waste of time.
Is it 30 minutes? It felt like longer.
It's about 30 minutes. Yeah, the first half hour is on Tatooine with Jabba. And first of all, Luke's plan? Holy crap, dude.
It's kind of like the Emperor's plan. So many things have to go right when, hey, I have an idea. Okay, so we know, this is Jabba's palace. It's this. As far as we know, anyone that Jabba has employed is in there. I'm pretty sure I have seen hundreds upon hundreds of rebels and rebel pilots, and they have an army. Why didn't you go get him with that? You could have stormed Jabba's castle.
If his plan, because his ultimate end game is to just wail on everybody.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just come into there with a lightsaber drawn? Give him back.
Yeah, that would have really come in handy against the Rancor.
Right? But no, you have it with R2-D2 the whole time. How did you know you weren't going to die down there? How did you know that that he was going to take you all the way out to the Sarlacc pit and have a big party? You didn't know any of this.
You know none of this.
But when he's standing on the plank, he's like nodding at everybody with that little wink. Like, yep, it's time. Plans just come into fruition. Hope somebody doesn't try to push me in so I can call my lightsaber to me. But it happens, and he just starts attacking everybody anyway, so it was just a complete pointless sequence.
It was a waste of time. And then after that, now we've got to start tying up the rest of this movie, because this 30 minutes has nothing to do with anything.
And first of all, saving Han shouldn't have happened. Han should be dead. Because Han Solo in this movie is not Han Solo.
He's really wasted.
He's a bumbling fool. He's like a goddamn sitcom character.
Yeah, kind of. But I don't advocate for killing Han Solo in this movie, but I do say that saving him could have taken a lot less time, and he was not I agree, he's not the Han Solo. he's too jokey for me.
Yep, he is. He's got like one funny line. When Luke says, I grew up here, you know. You're gonna die here, you know. Well, pretty convenient.
I like when they're on Endor, and he's like, me and Chewie will take care of these guys. He's like, quietly, there might be more. And Han's like, hey, it's me. And they just give him that look like, oh, God. But, okay, so 30 minutes into this movie, we're finally into the actual story.
Yeah.
So they're building a new Death Star. We meet the Emperor, even though we already saw him on a hologram. And then...
but Ian McDiarmid is the Emperor. Holy shit.
And these movies.
Yeah.
These movies are the ones that matter. So he's menacing.
He's so good at being evil.
Yeah, because even at the beginning of the movie, Darth Vader's like, the Emperor's not as forgiving as I am. And you're like, there's a worse person than this? And then you finally see him, and he sells it.
Yes, he does.
Which is greatness. So
he's a straight-up goblin.
Oh, yeah, and he sounds like one, too. So they get the plans for this Death Star, because we got to do that again.
Why not?
Hey, if it works, I guess.
Do it 3 times.
Oh, God, yeah, you're right. They did it again. Oh, man.
Why not? That's all they know how to do, is destroy planets.
Which, in the extended universe, there are a lot worse weapons than the Death Star. Trust me.
Yeah, but the Death Stars, they're round, and people know what they look like.
Yeah.
It's familiar.
But if you read any of the books, which I don't, I just watch YouTube series about the books that just explain it to me because I don't want to read. There's weapons that are way worse than a Death Star. But anyway, so...
But why does it have to be that? You know what I mean? We just saw it.
I know.
They're building another Death Star. That worked out well last time.
And it looks the same.
The exact same, except it's not finished.
Yeah, they say it's bigger. I'm like, is it? It looks the same to me. So, this is another problem that I have is when they steal the ship so they can get to Endor and take down the shields. Fine, I don't hate that. And then Luke is like, Vader's on that ship. I shouldn't have come. They said in the meeting that the Emperor was there. Did you not expect Vader to be there with him?
I don't know.
You're like, I'm endangering the mission. Yeah, you really are, and you should have thought about that.
But he didn't.
No, he didn't. Why wouldn't Darth Vader be there?
I guess he used up all of his tactical brain in the first plan. I don't know.
See, yeah, this is where characters get kind of stupid.
And everything that happens on Endor, I just don't give a shit about.
I don't like it at all. I hate.
We get to Build-A-Bear Workshop and we fuck off there for however long they're there.
Overnight, they stayed the night there. Like, you're on a time crunch. Your rebel friends are going to attack that base. You should have been. This situation should not have happened.
Yeah. Did you really need their help?
No.
Did they really? No.
Not really.
Because, everything on Endor is pointless. Even Vader and Luke's reunion is anti-fucking climatic.
Yeah, it really is. And then, even when Luke reveals that Leia's his sister, I don't give a shit about. It's almost like they're phoning it in because this movie's almost over.
They kind of were. Hamill's like the only one really trying.
Him and McDiarmid are the only ones trying.
Yeah.
Because McDiarmid just kills it for the rest of the movie. But yeah, Leia and Han, they really don't give a shit.
No, they kind of don't. You can tell that the director was not an actor's director. He's like, yeah, you've done this before. You don't just do what you want.
Yeah, you've been this character already. Just do whatever he would do.
Yeah. Which wasn't a good idea.
No, it wasn't.
Because a lot of these lines are phoned in.
Yes. Like, he's like, she finally finds out that she's the sister, and she just goes, I know. Somehow I've always known. Wow, you really sold me on that one, because no, you didn't. But
you should have been shocked. Yeah.
The look on her face was just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, if you don't care, then why do I?
I don't care either. Oh, man.
Then leave this place. No, I've got to go kill him.
Okay.
She does ask a good question. Why do you have to go kill him? Why do you do
Because
that?
There's goodness in him. I felt it. When he cut your arm off? When he was trying to take you to the Emperor?
Yeah, when did you haven't been with him since?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Basically, what it is like he just wants to play catch. Because even after he throws himself off of Cloud City and he's in the Millennium Falcon, Vader calls to him, and what does Luke say? Father?
Yeah, he does.
That's exactly what he says. I'm like, wow, okay, well, forget trying to take over the Empire. Let's just go play catch.
Yes, let's do that.
That's with the Force. So dumb.
You teach me how to play, Papa?
That's exactly what it is. It's just abandonment issues at that point.
Yeah, really.
That's the whole reason that he goes to confront him. Like, no, Darth Vader is bad, dude. Even at the end where Vader pulls off his mask and there's this crusty old white man, he's like, you were right about me, Luke. Why? Because you did one nice thing?
Yeah.
You killed children, bro.
Lots of them.
Lots and lots of children. And striking the prequels from the record, Obi-Wan said Vader systematically hunted down and destroyed and killed the Jedi. One good deed does not make you a good person.
No.
And damn sure doesn't mean you're worthy of being a Force ghost.
No, not at all. I don't think so. This movie's sloppy.
It is sloppy. It's just tying up shit very loosely.
I do wish they would have gotten into a little bit. They kind of lean into it a little bit when Vader, when Luke's trying to beg it, is come back with me. You know, we can leave right here, right now. And Vader's like, you don't know the power of the dark side. I must obey my master. They're alluding to the fact that he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
They should have shown that more. Because they kind of don't. If
No.
you would have, you know, he's been a slave to this power this whole time. Like, the Emperor's, like, got him. And the reason he's able to break away is because of his son.
Here's a plot twist. The Emperor's been holding Padme hostage this entire time, having him do his bidding.
She wasn't a character, though.
She wasn't a character. Well, she doesn't have to be. You could introduce her in this film, and you're like, oh, that's why he's been bad this whole time. I don't care about the prequels. They don't exist. They don't exist. And then Vader sacrifices himself. Everyone gets free, and then Luke and Leia have a mother. There's an ending for you.
Yeah.
There's an ending and a half. Fuck. Way better than this. And I just pulled that off the top of my head. I didn't even think about that when I was watching the movie yesterday. That just came to me right now.
But no, we have to have a party with teddy bears.
Oh God, I hate those teddy bears so much. They beat the Empire's Imperial walkers with Home Alone tactics.
Yeah. With logs.
That shit didn't even work.
Logs and rocks.
That shit didn't even work on the Predator.
Logs and rocks, and they take out. Oh my! Wow. Yeah.
So many of them. Just these little teddy bears just beating these people with a stick. Why are you wearing armor if you're going to get taken down by a 3-foot teddy bear?
Every time it goes back to Endor during the final climax, it's cutting back to like 3 or 4 things.
Yeah.
Every time it goes back to Endor and the Ewoks are like, no, please, no more Endor.
And they don't even sound menacing. They sound adorable.
They do.
When they're beating someone to death. How is that threatening?
That's not. They had to sell toys.
They had to sell toys. Well, you know what would have probably sold toys? A planet made of bigger teddy bears. I think there's a name for them. They're called Wookiees. Why not that? The Empire's taken down by Wookiees. I believe that more because you make the Wookiees more threatening in one line of dialogue in A New Hope. That's because a droid...
Why don't they go to Kashyyyk?
I don't know. Because... Kashyyyk is not even brought up in this trilogy. You don't know it exists. You don't know what the name of Chewbacca's home planet was. You could have had that.
Yeah.
Because in one line of dialogue, it's like, that's because droids aren't known for pulling people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that. Okay, Wookiees are terrifying. Just this one. What's the rest of them going to do?
Yeah. They could have it could have been that planet under siege by the Empire. They're building and they call for help. And this could have been a better film.
And it makes more sense for them to help them because they have Chewie and Han who can understand them.
Right. The only ones who can, 3PO.
But we had to give 3PO something to do.
Yeah. Which is that entire sequence when they're in the village and they're about to eat them.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little fun.
It's a little fun, but it's also kind of dumb.
I've always noticed, though, that after Han tells him, well, this is going to work, and he's like trying to blow it out, and then Luke gives tells him to use his magic or whatever.
Yeah.
The look that he gives, the attitude that he takes is bizarre to me because 3PO.
Tell them if they don't release it, she'll become angry.
And use your magic. Why are you bowing it up right now?
Yeah,
He became Goblin King for some reason.
Well,
I don't know why he got all seductive with it.
Well, like we said, he's the only one trying at this point.
But still.
Another reason.
It makes me laugh every single time. 3PO.
Another reason I love the Star Wars Family Guy is because you see Leia because she was with them the whole time, and it's like, wait, so they use sticks and spears, but they have a vast knowledge of cosmetics because her entire outfit and hairstyle changed.
Of course it did.
I'm like, did they do that? Or was that you for 3 hours just working on yourself? Because you have so much hair.
Cutting out a pattern for a dress?
Yeah, okay. It just makes no sense.
Because there's no way they just had that laying around.
No, that was
the last human woman that came and visited us.
Yeah, they ate her and they gave that dress to Leia. That's the only thing that makes sense because why do you have that?
Why didn't they eat her?
Because she fed one of them, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah, the Ewoks are stupid.
All the way around.
So there's one character that gets no love in any of these trilogies, and he survives the entire time, and that is Wedge.
Wedge Antilles.
Why is he such a second-hand character? He was around for 2 Death Stars and survived both of them. He's one of the only people that has.
Yeah, and blew up the second one.
Yeah, that was him. That was him. And he took down an Imperial Walker, the giant camel thing.
Yeah. The only one that did that successfully.
Yeah, because Luke's Gunner, Dak, I feel like I could take on the whole Empire myself. You might as well have said you were 2 days from retirement because they killed you almost immediately. You might as well have been a fat pilot because they kill those first every single time.
Every single time.
I do love in the New Hope, his name's Porkins.
That's so bad.
That's so mean. And that's gotta be like a nickname they gave him in the barracks. Like, that's nobody's last name. That's just like, hey, there's this big fat-ass pilot, and everybody's like, hey, look, it's Porkins.
He just goes along with it.
All right, fine, I'm Porkins. Whatever. Oh, man.
At first, it was like, stop calling me that, guys.
It's not cool. We're supposed to be on the
same
side.
Shut up, Porkins.
Okay. So
guys, anyway.
And then so Luke and Vader fight for a little while. Luke wins because he gives into his rage, and then he stops himself, which is totally fine. And then you see the coolest Force power ever, and that's Force lightning. That is why the Emperor should never have had a lightsaber. He's one of the only people that knows how to do this.
And that comes after probably one of my favorite moments ever, and that's when because Palpatine interrupts the fight. Good. Now strike him down.
Yeah,
and then he looks down. He's cut off his father's arm, and he looks at his own hand, and it's machine.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's good. And then
just throws the lightsaber away.
Throws the lightsaber away, and then shocking. And then Vader's like, no, throws him over, and the Emperor dies.
He doesn't say no.
Or whatever. So
he never says no, damn it.
Yeah, and then Vader pulls off his mask. You were right about me, Luke. No, he really wasn't. You're still a horrible, horrible human being. Which I don't even know if they're called that.
Yeah, they call them humans several times.
Okay. This is so stupid because it's in the special edition when Han steps on Jabba's tail in A New Hope. He calls Jabba a wonderful human being. Like. I don't know if you know what that word means.
Because it was just a fat guy.
Okay.
Originally. Jabba changed over time, but
yeah, because it's obvious that he's talking to a fat person.
Yeah.
In that special edition. So speaking of, Jedi suffered the worst from these special editions, and that is apparent in Jabba's palace.
Yes, that musical number is awful.
That they give you for no reason at all other than they could. There's no rhyme or reason for it whatsoever. It has nothing to do with anything.
It's an entire 2.5 minute song too.
Not to mention it's in another language.
Exactly. So why do I care?
And it looks stupid. And I'm like, why am I listening to a song that I don't understand?
There are effects that they did in the original filming that look better now than those editions did when they came out.
I hated it. I hated it so much.
The new CGI and all the special editions are awful.
They're worse. They're so much worse. So Okay, I think we've covered everything. Now we can nitpick a little bit.
Okay.
I don't like C-3PO in Jedi. I don't like him at all. I like him a lot in Empire and A New Hope. I hate him in Jedi 100%. He's annoying.
He is annoying.
But he's annoying in Empire, but he's funny because he's one of the only sources of humor in Empire. The rest of it is probably the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
That's a source of humor because it's always it's always broken. Like it's never quite right.
It's a hot rod basically.
Yeah,
it's
and
a
I
piece
like
of junk he always works on.
And I like that, but other than C-3PO and Empire, there's not a whole lot of humor. Maybe a little bit from Yoda when you first meet him, but because you can't understand R2, they can't be together giving you great dialogue, so basically 3PO's humor is just coming from panic the whole time.
Right.
But in Jedi, I hate him.
He's enormously annoying.
Yeah, I hate him 100%. And I think... Another thing that I think the special editions did right, and people can argue this, but I personally like it. I like what they did with the Sarlacc pit, where they gave it a mouth.
It doesn't look good though.
It doesn't look good, but it also does nothing for the movie. It's just a change that I'm okay with.
That's the problem I have with doing the special editions at all. It's things like that you don't have to do.
No, you just did it because...
They don't add anything. Like adding the stormtroopers when Han's running down the hallway. That added something.
Yeah.
That's fine. And it's not noticeable. This is noticeable, and it looks out of place.
They added, in A New Hope, when they're searching for the droids in the desert, the stormtroopers, they added stormtroopers in the back... riding on these creatures just to make it look like there were more out there looking, which is fine. But just adding a musical number and a mouth just to do it is stupid.
It is stupid.
I don't know what you got.
Nitpicking?
Yeah.
Not with the original cuts, not really. It's the special editions that I just can't stand because I think they're travesties. Honestly, I think it's a little kid that didn't really get his way because you can tell that he didn't have a whole lot to do with Empire or Jedi.
Oh, it's obvious.
And now he had to get what he wanted. It was like a kid throwing a fit to me. Oh, you didn't want that in there when I first made it, so I'm just going to do it now. And they keep adding things. And I'm just like, stop messing with these movies. They were fine the way they were. There's a charm to the original trilogy because of how gritty they are.
And
especially Star Wars and Empire.
No, A New Hope, where they add the scene where he's stepping on Jabba's tail and Han is telling Jabba literally word for word what he just told Greedo.
Yep.
It was pointless.
That's why they cut that scene in the original film, because he was just saying the same shit again.
Yeah, you just said it. And I didn't
almost the exact same lines, too.
Yeah, he even said, he's like, I get bored sometimes. You think I had a choice? I just heard that 3 minutes ago verbatim.
Yeah.
Word for word, in case you didn't know what verbatim meant.
Yes, I did.
I was talking to them. So, and then, son of a bitch. I didn't need to know. There's no point in putting Jabba the Hutt in A New Hope because you see him for the very first time in Jedi, and he's kind of menacing and terrifying.
He's a monster.
Yeah. Seeing him at the shuttle bay in A New Hope really lessens that.
Because he doesn't look the same.
No.
He looks awful, by the way.
Oh, my God. He looks so bad.
He looks terrible, and when they add him, like, stepping on his tail, that looks awful. Why even do it? It just, it's like I said, I don't think that Lucas...
He was throwing a tantrum.
...is a good filmmaker. And I just don't. I think that I think he's an idea guy. I think because people have taken his ideas, different directors have taken his ideas and made great movies with them. Indiana Jones is his idea.
But it's not his movie.
It's not his movie. Neither's Empire.
No. That's Irvin Kershner's movie.
Yeah, and Kasdan, Lawrence Kasdan.
Yeah.
He wrote the screenplay.
That's true.
Lucas had the story, which means that he had a few paragraphs of what it was supposed to be about. They just expanded on it and made something great out of it. But you could tell a lot of more of Lucas's ideas got thrown into Jedi.
Yeah.
Because of the tone of the film.
Oh, yeah. It definitely is a lot more lighthearted, which not what we've been used to so far.
No. I mean, my God, you see charred, dead bodies in Star Wars.
They blew up a planet.
Yeah.
With people on it. Billions of people.
These are supposed to be gritty films.
And then you give us teddy bears.
Yeah, and then you give us teddy bears. Which I know was Lucas's idea.
Of course it was Lucas's idea. Because he thinks Star Wars is for kids.
And I've said this before, it's for the kid in you. Because sometimes when I watch Star Wars, I feel like a kid again.
Because you saw it when you were a kid.
But no, that these should not be children's films.
No.
It shouldn't be a Smurf movie. It shouldn't be that.
Yeah, because, I mean, maybe the closest thing you got to Ewoks before that were Jawas, and they killed them too.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they killed Ewoks, but you saw one of them die.
Only one. But I don't know. But overall, I still love this trilogy.
There's a whole lot that it did to film. And it's a whole... These movies are the reason I have the taste I do in film. And in video games and in comics. And
just overall fantasy sci-fi.
Just an overall in fiction general.
Yeah.
Star Wars is the reason I have the interest I have. It really did shape who I was, just like it did you.
Yeah, I think that it definitely did that for a lot of people, especially people listening. If you made it this far, it means something to you.
Yes, it does.
I don't know a whole lot of people that have seen Star Wars that don't like it. Most people I know just haven't seen it. And that's fine. If you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it. Whatever. But I don't know a lot of people that have seen it and didn't like it.
Me either.
I don't think I know anybody.
But that's why that these new movies that are out and the last one coming out are such a big deal to me. Because it's the end of something. I never thought you'd see this. The story ever coming to an end.
I really want to see the story come to an end, to be honest with you.
Oh, I do too. I want to see it wrap up. Let's tie it all up and give me a nice going away present. Other than that though, I'm kind of done. Oh,
I'm definitely done. After Rise of Skywalker, I'm out.
For a while. I'm out for a while.
Yeah, and I really hope that... Who are we talking about? It's Disney. They're not going to be done.
No, they're not. But as far as like the movies go, I don't want a movie. TV shows are fine.
TV shows are fine because I don't have to watch them. Movies, they get me every time.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit. And now I got to watch this goddamn
look
Star Wars
at this
movie.
cool thing I've got to go see now. God damn it.
But they didn't get me with Solo. Nope, they didn't get me on that one.
No, they didn't get me either. Nobody wanted that.
No. And then they were talking about after a Solo movie, we're going to do a Boba Fett movie. Nope. And that was scrapped immediately, I think. I don't think they even brought that up again.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Don't. And I like that Obi-Wan is just getting a mini-series. That's fine. Do mini-series all day long. You know, give us stories outside of the main timeline if you want. Just don't make movies anymore. At least for give me 10 years. Can I get 10 years?
You're not going to get 10.
No,
you might get 5.
I'll probably get 3. All right. Well, next week we're going to wrap up Star Wars. Well, no, actually
it's almost.
We're going to continue Star Wars month. Yeah, so next week we'll be doing episodes 7 and 8, leading us into the week after, which is Rise of Skywalker.
Which I'm looking forward to a lot.
I am too.
I'm really looking forward to this movie.
I am, but I'm starting to see headlines. I'm not reading reviews, but I'm seeing headlines because assholes are posting them on Facebook.
Stop doing
that. Because there's spoilers in the title that I have to read, and I hate it. So next week, I'm looking forward to it because this one's kind of going to be like a combination of this week and last week. There's going to be love and some hate because I very much enjoyed Force Awakens, and I have reservations about Last Jedi, but there are still things about it that I like.
Yeah, me too.
So that will be next week, and we hope you enjoyed Star Wars Month, the original trilogy.
Yay.
Man, I'm exhausted.